What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Universim. This likely will be, well, actually no, this will be the last episode of this series. For that, tomorrow, Friday, will be the new series for the new patch. So just to make you aware of that, and make sure you subscribe to get the notifications of that. There is quite a lot of additions into that, so I'm looking forward to it. Also some government and town hall updates as well. So just on the moon, doing what we did before, trying to get everything up and running. At the time you're watching this, obviously, and I'm playing this, I was a lot more clueless than I am actually now doing the voiceover, because this was all brand new to me. So we do in fact have the water that we want, which is good. We still need to get, though, which is obviously very important, the water pump up and running. Another thing that I didn't know, but I will confirm for you now, is that these water lakes do spawn fish by themselves. I don't know how or why, but let's not talk about it. So once you've got water in these lakes and they're up to maximum over a period of time, slowly, but they will start to stock with fish as well, which will allow you to get both water and then fish food from them. I'm not going to do that myself because the fish run out quite fast, to be honest. I would rather just go with farms and then the cattle farms when animals appear. Again, animals do start spawning once you get the planet up to the right level. And then you can get some hunters and some husbandry type, whatever they call cattle farms, depending on the animals. The animals I've seen on the only animal, sorry, I've seen on the moon so far is a snake goat, I think it's called, or snake something or other, and it's basically an animal's body with a snake's head. You can see there that the actual forestry spell works also, and immediately you can see that it is increasing the oxygen and the various different stats for the planet. The trees are totally alien to us. They're not the same as what you got on the starting planet, which is nice to see. Very colourful, very bright, and a bit of grass as well. I'm not sure if that was spread on its own without me growing it, but to be honest, I'm getting a lot of creative points because of how my world planet is set up, my main planet is set up, so I will indeed use those to achieve that. Residential buildings, as per always, are built by the Nuggets themselves and require no resources. The water pump needs to be finished though, and I am short on what looks like steel. So what I need to do now is find some buildings that have steel stored, and there is one, the warehouse, which is nowhere near as important as the water pump, so I'll cancel that, and also the eatery. And again, water is critical over food. They can eat the raw food without that anyway. So I'll shut both of them down to get that steel out for the water pump, and we'll move on from there. The hospital in the background, that purple building, that is a hospital. That is complete as well. These sort of things, though, again, I'm not entirely sure what I do or don't need. I'm just starting like I'm starting afresh, but using the knowledge before. So the things like a hospital to stop people from getting sick, but then you need a crematorium or the graveyard to make sure that the sick people get buried and don't rot to make other people sick. So it's just playing it by ear, and we just need to make sure we get the resources here to start doing that and build from scratch, really. It's like starting a new game. The only difference is you don't have water to start with, or the trees, or the oxygen, so you need to create that or do something that's going to make that happen naturally. So back home, and we're at the station that mysteriously disappeared, but now it is back, and we can use that to actually send some resources over. So left hand side, you can see all of the resources you can send. The reason it's not showing properly at the minute is because of the top left hand side, you can see it says other planets. That should say Earth 3.0, which is our home planet, and then 2 should be the moon, which is the new planet, or it's not a planet, it's a moon. And then you can send the goods over. You can't send massive amounts, but it is pretty quick. So I will figure that out hopefully very shortly. There you go. There you go, new hard. Well done. So yeah, Earth to the moon, and then you just say how many of them steel beams do you want to send over. It turns out the maximum is 20. So you click launch, and in 2 minutes and 1 second, 20 steel will arrive on the moon. You've got 4 slots, so you can do it. You can do 4 times. I suppose if you build multiple, well, obviously if you build multiple, you can send multiple, right? At the minute, I'm not struggling. Likely for when we go into the other planets, you're going to need probably 2, 3, 4 of them. But again, that also depends on your resources and the planets. Some planets might actually have the resources you can mine. But one thing is for certain, you need a lot of glass, cement, microchips, steel and plastic sending over, because you're in the space age and all your buildings require that to build. There is a couple that require planks and bricks, but not many at all. Most of it requires the ones I mentioned earlier. So make sure you've got a good amount of that to send over. Or at least increase your production to get them numbers up there so that you're not going to be struggling later, especially glass and plastic, because it seems like every building is made out of glass and plastic in space. You do get warnings as well on the planet that you're on, or the moon, telling you that the other planet is struggling. If it is, just having a look at some updates there, you can see the little tractors working in the refinery. But yeah, so it's quite self-explanatory, and you can see what needs to be done, even if you're on a different planet or moon anyway. If we just whiz over to the nuggetoid factory, I'll make more nuggets. We've got 20 currently. We are getting very low on the unobtainium now until we start mining it from the moon. But we'll get them robots because they last a lot longer, they're a lot stronger, they're a lot faster, and they're a lot better. Strangely, I've been getting warnings about water running out. I'm not sure what's caused that, or where or how. But there is a lake here that's got a good amount, I think it's 15,000 water, that's not been tapped for that resource. So I will put down 2 water pumps, and that should more than cover that, what we're missing. Again, another lake that is polluted, 25% as per, so I'm using the rain spell to do it. Now, 1 rain spell, which is 40 creator points, should clear out the 25%, regardless of the size of the lake. It should. You won't, however, if you go above 30%, you'll likely need 2 or more, depending. But 25% is a 1 rain cloud sort of fix. From what I've seen, by the way, the spaceport, I don't actually see anything leave the spaceport. I could have missed it, but you definitely see them arriving on the planet that they're going to, or moon. So as we stand, I can see that the water pump is indeed complete. I've got 195. Yeah, so Sirius's flight event, you get that every time. It gets a little bit annoying, to be honest. I don't really care. I know they're coming because I was the one that asked them to come and send them. So I start ignoring it after that, but I didn't realise that's all it was telling me. Poorly person there, get them healed. There's only 6 people living on the planet at the minute. But remember, the resource transfer thing, you can actually transfer nuggets. So yes, you can send people in these little containers. What's terrifying is that the containers that are sent from the planet to the moon are just square boxes. They're fired from the planet and they splat on the moon and open up. Somehow you can send people in that, or nuggets in that, and they all survive. Not entirely sure how that works. Anyway, you can see that I'm just chucking down some rain clouds with the spare creator points that I've got here, just to get the planet up to speed, because it needs the water maximizing and the trees maximizing, and that will create an atmosphere. You will see the atmosphere growing from mini clouds to straight clouds and then normal clouds, but it just takes some time. And from what I've seen, it actually takes a lot longer than I thought, because if you look at the bar on the atmosphere level, it does take a while to actually build up. There's 2. There's a yellow one, which means it's where it's at, and there's a blue one, which means where it's going to. So power on the planet is 40 from the rocket that stood there. You can see that gives 40, and then I've got 1 solar panel to the side. But we just need to make sure that we keep up with the resources that we're actually and by resources I mean power, that we're actually using to make sure we're not using more than we've actually got. So just coming now, we can actually see some resources have arrived, and I want to just quickly show you what it looks like. Regardless of what you actually send over, it seems that it's the same. So it drops a little pallet like that, it lands on the ground and then goes pop, and whatever was in it is in it, whether it be people or resources or anything else. But yeah, it is plain and simple and nice and easy. Actually, I really do think it's a good way of doing it and not too complex. When I said you can send people over, by the way, which you can also just breed them on the planet or on the moon. So if you start with 5, you can very slowly. I mean, as you can see, it's already 7. So I sent 5. They've had 2 children already. It's slow, but it does work, and it's no different to how you start the game. But then you can just send, top left-hand corner, you can see the little people on there. 734 I have. And you can send them in, I believe it's 20s. So if you wish, and I do, just to speed up the process, because as soon as you get like a town hall or something built, you want the governors to start doing the work for you, so I don't have to micromanage that so much. So doing a little bit of science for myself, and maybe you, I just put out 2 more clones again. 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 and 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿, because that's how lazy I am with making names. I'm using the love spell to make them fall in love. I don't know whether your clones can start families, so I'm interested. What I'm most interested in is that the clones, the female clone is blue and the male clone is blue. Will their babies be blue? And then even more exciting is if you mix the colours, can you mix the colours of the babies? So you can have like a proper generation of colours, and you can see just by the colour of the nugget where they stemmed from. I don't know. It only uses chemicals as well to make them, so it's not even that bad. I have realised that my population is dropping. It was in the 800s, it's now 700s. I think a lot of the problem is the constant pollution. As you can see here, 99% polluted, and I'm broke on points again. And we can make it rain on there. 99%. Will it actually take it down? I don't know. It is a tiny lake. 1206 water is the maximum. It looks like it will in fact take it from 100, or 99 actually it was, down to 0 just from 1 rain cloud, which is a good job because I can't afford any more anyway. So there you go. Nice clean lake. Why it got polluted, can't tell you. Back to the moon, and we're just waiting for our first pack. There they are. The first box of nuggets to arrive, and from 9 to 25, just like that. It is 16, by the way, not 20. I'm pretty sure I said it was 20. You could send it's not. It is 16. I don't know if you can upgrade that. You certainly can't in the research that we're looking at. But whether or not in 1.0 they'll change that or not, I don't know. But straight away, all of them 16 new nuggets have got to work doing various different things. The town hall has been built. You can build it yourself. Obviously, you can build 1 per planet. And that's important because if you build that and make a governor, you can then put all your governors down for the various different things, the same as your home planet. And that means that a lot of the buildings, defensive, power, food, hospitals, schools, etc., will all get built automatically. All you need to do is make sure they have the resources to do so. You can see there the yellow bar is a third of the way into 1, and the blue bar is nearly at the end of number 2. As far as I'm aware, the blue bar is where it's going to go, the yellow bar is where you're actually at. Or they both count, and the blue is coming from water and the yellow is coming from wood, looking at it. But if that's the case, I'm a bit confused because I do get it into the 4 section, and it still says that the oxygen levels aren't high enough. So I'm not entirely sure I understand it. But we will in time. And obviously, if somebody doesn't tell me, I will tell you when I fumble my way through it. As you can see, the home planet is very, very upgraded now. All of the buildings, vehicles, everything's kind of going into the space age. Most of these buildings, that is the expedition hut, I believe. Yes, I don't even recognize them myself. If you notice, that was fully unlocked as well, the health bar at the top. Both of them sections had been unlocked. All of the towers, just the roads even light up, like I said, I think it's the Tron. And then everybody uses spaceships to get around instead of vehicles. I'm not sure if the spaceships are faster than the vehicles, but they look cooler. Also, you can see there are a lot of buildings that require upgrading, and they are all being upgraded to the space age. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't say it increases any stats. All the cemeteries as well, all the lumber camps. So we'll get them done. Even the bridge, but I think I've already clicked that. So in terms of this world, it's looking nice, and to go any further with that, we'll have to wait and see. And the moon is building up nicely now. We have 25 people still. Of course, I haven't actually done any more yet, but what I am going to do is get the farms down, as I said. There's no logic behind it, but obviously I know the trees are growing, the water can exist on the moon, so that means plants can grow. So I'll chuck down 2 farms, get somebody working on those, and we'll get the food coming in. And yes, it does work. You don't need to wait for them to finish. It does indeed work. You don't require the crops, apparently. They just pick them out of the air. I haven't had to send anything over, and they just worked, so that's good. The residential is growing on the plot that I asked it to, the holy ground. And the lumber camp is collecting lumber. I'm going to upgrade that to the Space Age one, which is a really fancy green spire. Okay, so I have jumped ahead a little bit, about 20 in-game days. You can see it's actually it's winter on the moon. I don't know. I've got no answers for that. It's winter on the moon. The moon is terrestrial, though, which you can see by the bottom right where the leaves are. It's getting up there. I have chucked a lot of trees onto this planet. There are a lot of buildings done. The farms are up, finished, and they are working, as you can see. Growing as diarrhea fruit, and the other one, I can't remember what it is, but it's basically a forest biome. Cemetery is doing its job to keep everywhere clean. The research is complete. That is the lumber camp, very fancy spire of space age technology. But yes, all research has been completed. There's nothing left for us to research. There is a coming soon, which I'm hoping 1.1 gives us a little bit more for that, or 1.0, sorry. And then there was one that requires upgrading it basically gives you space power, but it doesn't let you build it or research it, so I'm assuming that will come. It just says it's an alternative to power in space, but as of yet, I don't know what that is. Unobtainium, you can see I've built the buildings on the moon, but forgetting that you actually need quite a few resources to run them. And I'm not going to bother with that. It's not worth it. All it does is makes us the nuggetoids, and I don't need them at the minute. There's plenty on the planet as it is. And like I say, you can see there that is, there you go, snake fox. I said in the previous episode it was snake something, snake fox. And they've spawned on their own, and I would imagine we can hunt and farm them should we wish. So, sending over some more, or not sending over, but requesting, because you can do it from the planet that you're on, which is the moon. Which is a moon, not a planet, but you know what I mean. You can see they're building the temple, which means that as per the other planet, they will be giving you creator points. I'm hoping that that means I can get double creator points. They are building wind turbines. Not entirely sure I agree with wind turbines on a moon, but everything else is working, so why wouldn't they? And then again, forestation. Making sure that lake doesn't run out of water. That's the only lake we're draining water from at the minute, so I'm keeping a close eye on that one, or I was doing. And then 8 points we have left, I usually just chuck in 2 trees. Just having a bit of a view here from that area. I think I was looking for a thumbnail, to be honest, but you can see a load more deliveries coming in. And one of those was people, or nuggets, because we now have 59 on the moon. Which is plenty of labourers for what we need to do, which is, well, build residential buildings, because I'm not building any more. But yeah, I think it's a good time to end this one here. This is going to be the last episode for this series. As I said, tomorrow, which will be Friday, is the episode that I'm looking forward to doing. So from that, there will be a lot of changes. And there will be some patch notes on the start of the episode just to explain it a bit more. But it's more about space travel, that we go to loads of new planets, right? So, yeah. So thank you very much. This is the first series that I've actually completed. And thank you for your support throughout it. I hope you stay along for the ride and look at the new version with me from Friday. Again, thank you very much. Please subscribe for more. Take care. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Goodbye.